Welcome to RPV City Talk, featuring our very own RPV City Council members discussing current events and issues of interest to our community.
Hello everyone, I'm Liz Brown Swanson. Welcome to RPV City Talk. I'm very excited and honored to be talking with our two gentlemen here in studio. There are two newest elected members of the RPV City Council, and for the first time here in studio together since being elected in November. Joining me now is we have Councilmember Anthony Mizitich and Councilmember Brian Campbell. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thanks, Liz.
And it's great to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
And I just want to start off, just go back to election night and just what that was like for you and the excitement of it all.
Well, election night was very exciting for me. I had felt that I had done everything that I needed to do in the election, from being in the forums, being in the walking precincts, putting out my mail, and I felt very, very comfortable in the end that I had done everything possible to be victorious in the election. So I felt very comfortable that night.
And how about for you, Brian?
We worked on Election Day up until an hour and a half before the polls closed. I made almost 100 phone calls myself that day on Election Day. My volunteers were working. We had a stand set up at a local grocery store, handing out information to people, hoping to get every last vote. Our philosophy was that we'd rather work too hard and win by 1,000 votes than quit a day early and lose by 12 votes, because in this city that certainly can happen.
Mm-hmm. There was 7 candidates running, and all of you have had years of community service, volunteering for the city as well on different committees and whatnot. But when did you decide to run and to get into the race?
I decided in the late spring when I started looking at the future of what sort of financial shape the state was in, what sort of effect that was going to have on our city. Some of the very large businesses that were going to be opening, such as Terranea. I'm in the commercial real estate business professionally. A lot of my experience can come to play with helping the city council and the community sort through some of these potential problems from the state, some of these business issues that are going to be in front of us, and I thought I could play a meaningful part.
Mm-hmm. How about with you?
Liz, it was in January, I believe, and it was just after I had gotten off the Finance Advisory Committee, and I felt that I still had something to give to the city based on my business background and experience in nonprofits. And so I said, you know what, this is an election year. There are 2, or possibly 2. I knew there was, one going to be seat that was going to be open. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring.
And of course, as I mentioned, there were 7 candidates. Some were on the Planning Commission. Of course, you had the legend John McTaggart, a city founder, 4-time council member that served, who sadly passed. But with the field of candidates that were out there, when did you know you were going to win this? I mean, how did you know there was a great field of candidates, like we said, and how did you know you guys were going to do it?
I never felt I was going to win it. I felt that we were staying focused. I felt, as Anthony said, that we were doing almost all of the things that we needed to do to get out there and touch people. I had in excess of 30 different neighborhood coffees. We quit counting after that. I don't think anybody's ever done that many before. Having John McTaggart in the field certainly shook up the race. It forced our campaign to go places that perhaps candidates haven't traditionally gone to get votes. For example, I was speaking in front of many young people, high school students, government students, about the importance of local government. And I assumed that if I was effective with them, they might share their thoughts with their parents or were voters. Some of them were voters. We signed some of them up that were 18 years old to vote in this election. So John McTaggart he presented us with a difficult problem because he is the legend. He could have won this race, but it affected us in a positive way because we were forced to reach out and touch people in the community that perhaps hadn't voted before.
Mm-hmm. I felt when I was precinct walking in the month of October, that I was getting very good feedback. It was feedback directly with people in various parts of the city, different precincts. And I recall one lady whose door I knocked on over here on the west side. And I knocked on her door. She opened up her door and she said, "Anthony Misitich, I'm so glad that you're at my front door," before I could open up my mouth. And so that kind of feedback,
Right.
made me feel very positive coming into finally into election day. So I think it was that feedback directly from the people.
And
Yeah.
if I could add something to that, while I never felt completely comfortable that we were going to win by as much as we ultimately did, I did know that Anthony was going to win, because Anthony lives over on the east side. I live over on the west side. I have some more natural name recognition, I think, before this started on the west side. And when I was out walking precincts and those doors would open and Anthony had more name recognition than I did, I remember going home and telling my wife, "Anthony's going to win. I don't know if he'll come in first or second place, but he is going to win." That also motivated us to keep working as hard as we did all the way through to 90 minutes before the polls closed.
And see, I thought Brian was going to win. I thought Brian, with all the coffees that he was doing, that he was out there in the community, meeting people and getting votes. I thought definitely you were going to.
So we pushed each
win.
other.
You're right. You're right.
All right, well, you both had a great experience, and here you are. You happen to mention your wife. I think it's a good time to segue in. Just giving the community more about your background. You both have children in schools right now. Just share with our residents more about your background and, what your day in life right now. I know you're both businessmen and all that. You want to start, Anthony?
Sure. I am married to my wife, Chris. We're going on 20 years now. Wonderful lady. She puts up with all my endeavors, including the recent campaign. And, I just want to say that she is a wonderful person that I love very, very much.
That's
And
great.
she's been very supportive. My kids, I sat down with them probably in March of this year and talked to them about running for city council, and they were all very, very supportive. And I have two children that are attending PV High, my daughter Kelly and my son Matthew, and then my son Jonathan is at my alma mater, Marist
Right.
Intermediate. It's hard for me to say that, because as a graduate of the high school, I still refer to it as a high school.
You're still the Marauders.
Still the Marauders. But you're right, I'm a businessman. I've been working for the same company for 25 years now in the petroleum marketing industry. My current responsibility is I am vice president of lubricant manufacturing, so I am in charge of our lubricant manufacturing plants in Rancho Dominguez here in Los Angeles, and we have another one in Panama.
All right, so you do some traveling.
I do some traveling.
We
I
know
travel.
you're going to be twice a month, right? At least twice a month.
Well, yeah, and the Panama trips are probably twice to 3 times a year.
All right.